Shetima, GCON, for coming for this event as a special guest of honor. And let me thank you for your kind words. Let me also appreciate my good friend, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, the former President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Let me appreciate Her Excellency Mrs. Miriam Abasha, the former First Lady. Thank you very sincerely for coming to honor us. Let me appreciate His Excellency Dr. Mrs. President Jonathan, my dear wife. Thank you for coming. Let me appreciate the keynote speaker, His Excellency Dr. Ibn Chambers, who was one time the president of the ECOWAS Commission and UN at the time. He was the UN rep in the Sahel, my good friend, a member of the West African Elders Forum. Thank you for the brilliant speech and your kind words. Let me appreciate some of the royal fathers that I've seen. Probably there are more, but let me sincerely appreciate His Royal Majesty Oba Ade Ogunwusi, the Oni of Ife, and the Olori, the dear wife, Elizabeth Ogunwusi. Thank you for coming to support us. Let me appreciate His Royal Majesty King Papa Priye Dietespil, the Amir of Prombral, and the Queen. Thank you, my big uncle, for coming to support us. And let me appreciate my childhood friend, His Royal Majesty King A.J. Turner, the Olay the Third, and the Obanaban of Oloibiri Kingdom. Thank you for always supporting me. We have among us so many former and serving government officials. We have former members of the National Assembly here. We have former ministers, 2 former secretaries of government. We have serious members of the private sector here. I wouldn't want to bore you more by calling names. I appreciate all of you because most of you have come to greet me, so I know you are here to support us. Because I'm not going to read my speech, so I'll just make a little remark. After the 2015 election, and I lost the election, and I called my challenger, General Buhari then, to congratulate him. A number of people came to me that you are leaving the office. A number of people, when they look at my face, they think I am a young person, but I'm not a young person. They say, you are still young, so you need to see what you could do. You need to set up a foundation. A number of people came up with different proposals, different suggestions. And I know and I have to appreciate Tony Elumelu, who came to me and talks about setting up a foundation. I said, I've never been in civil society. I don't know how foundations work. So who do you think can manage the foundation for me? Because I will not be able to manage the foundation myself. He said that he would have recommended one lady, Angel, but that because she's a Cameroonian American, she will not be able to, probably. I said, okay, we can still see her. So Angel came to me and we had a conversation. So we decided to start the foundation. And we have quite a number of things that we should do. We are looking at issues of women, we are looking at issues of children, issues of education, issues of poverty alleviation, issues of hunger, and so on. So Tony Elumelu again sent somebody who was managing his foundation at that time. I've forgotten his name, but he's a European, who came to me. And I told him the areas I wanted to focus the foundation. And the man said, I don't think you should go that way. That in Africa, most former presidents set up foundations and put so many things that they want to do. So they became jack of all and master of none. And people hardly know what they do. That when you were in office, there are 2 areas that people appreciate you so much. The issues of democracy, because you strengthened the Electoral Commission. And that as a city president, you call your challenger even before elections were concluded. And the whole world celebrates you for that. That you can go that area because immediately you announce it, people will believe in you because you have demonstrated it. And you did a lot of public sector reforms while in office. You strengthened a lot of institutions. So you can also go to public sector reforms. So we now change the whole things we wanted to do. And I remember when my childhood friend King Turner came, and I told him, look, this is what we want to do. And he looked through everything, and there was nothing about environment. He told us, how can you? You are from the Niger Delta, the epicenter of environmental challenges. Your academic background is environmental. And you worked as a assistant director of environmental protection for years in Umpadeg. It will be difficult for you to have a foundation that will not talk about the environment. I said, well, everybody talks about environment. So I think I should leave the environmental issues to that. That's how we decided to concentrate on issues of democracy and public sector reform. But we have not done anything in terms of public sector reform because for you to go there, the government must invite you to go and work there. The only thing close to that was when we worked with international ideas in the Gambia to review their constitution. So we decided to center on issues of democracy and governance. And just like my executive secretary have said it all, Ms. Anne Yono, the media, the documentary, yeah, also you heard all. So we are now doing more of the issues of democracy and governance. And we have few products, though we are doing a number of things, like my executive director did mention, even in the documentary, you showed that even during the COVID, we did something. We can actually do anything we want to do. But the key area is about democracy. And one of the #1 products is the West African Elders Forum that we set up. A forum that is made up of former presidents of countries and former presidents of ECOWAS that we believe knows much about the West African sub-region. And this is a preventive diplomacy program. And just like she said, we noticed, even when I was in office, that most of the challenges we have used to emanate from poorly managed elections. In fact, Mali is still there. It was just parliamentary election that led to the crisis in Mali, not even presidential election. So we set up the West African Elders Forum so that we go to countries close to their elections and we also go during their elections. The idea, yes, we observe the elections, but we are not co-observers. We go there to make sure that if we notice anything that is coming up negatively, we intervene and try to see what we could do so that those issues will not snowball into crisis. And the condition to be a member of the West African Elders Forum is that you must be a former president within the sub-region and a former president of ECOWAS. Because we are not too many, so some vice presidents, like one of the ladies that spoke, the former vice president of the Gambia, also a member. But one clear condition is that you will not longer be an active politician. And that is why I'm disappointing most of my friends. They expect me to play active role in politics. But before I play active role in politics, I will first and foremost resign from the West African Elders Forum before I can play active role in politics. So, but then we do use presidents that are still active, but not as members of the forum. I remember during the Nigerian election, last election, we had nobody because Baikoroma would have left the team because I am a Nigerian, so I couldn't even lead the team. But Baikoroma was being used by ECOWAS, and we wanted an English-speaking person. So we have to bring John Mahama, even though we knew he was still in active politics in Ghana. But we borrowed him, just come and lead this mission. and go back. You are not yet a member until you finish your political activity. So that's our number one product. The second one, which also was mentioned by the Executive Secretary, was our annual democracy dialogue. We try to look into some areas of the practice of democracy in Africa, and we get experienced speakers to come and speak on it. This documentary, I expected them to bring some of those speeches, some parts of those speeches, but I didn't see any of them. And that's one thing that if we are doing this again, at least you omitted that. I don't know who put it together, but you omitted that completely, which is not because that's the key thing we have been doing. The last one was held in Accra, Ghana, and we think that probably the next one will go to East or Southern African countries, or probably could be done in Nigeria. These are two major programs. But within the country, whenever elections are coming up, we used to hold conferences, discuss with stakeholders, and play a role in suppressing crisis. So let me, on behalf of the foundation, sincerely thank all of you for coming. Let me appreciate the Vice President for coming with your team. Appreciate all our guests for coming. In fact, former governors are here, former ministers, former secretary of government. I've even seen some of my bosses from UMPA. They were my directors when I was assistant director. I've seen some of them here. So I have to thank all of you. Yeah, Dr. Ekefre was my director of project monitoring from Cross River State. Thank you for coming. My good friends in the National Assembly, I have to thank all of you and promise you that we'll continue to do our best. For us as a nation, this is a very sad moment. About 25 girls were kidnapped. And it reminds me of what I faced when the Chibok girls were kidnapped when I was in office. In fact, myself and the Vice President, he was the governor of Borno State. When the girls were kidnapped, I was the president. I know the headache we had. So we really pray that these girls be rescued. We condole with the families of the people who have lost their life, the general, the vice principal of the school, and all the other people that are still in detention. We pray that this country gets out of this situation very soon. It's a sad moment. And for those of us who are in active politics, I still pray that whatever we do affects everybody. And we must play our politics with decorum, with sense of responsibility, not with rascality. Politics is not a business of rascals. Politics is, you are trying to create leaders. You are trying to create leaders. So you must show that you are an extremely responsible person. For you, in fact, when we are in Ghana, the keynote speaker then from our Democracy Day was Bishop Kuka. And he said that if you look at everything in the world, even if it is to make Accra or bonds, I don't know their names, there are people who learn before they do it. Even to teach in primary school, you go through a training process, get certificates before you can even teach in nursery school. But that is only in politics that there's no training. Somebody just wake up, he's a politician. You don't know where the person is coming from, the next day is your governor. No basic training. And it is a problem. We must change the face of politics. We must see politics as a business of responsible individuals, not a business that they play in the motor park. Once again, let me not go too far before I say things that I'm not supposed to say. So let me, on behalf of the foundation and on behalf of my family, actually today is for the foundation, but all the speakers also appreciated my and my birthday. And that is the problem the foundation will continue to face. Maybe we have to do something. Because the foundation was launched on my birthday in 2015, when I launched the transition hours. And the proceeds from that book was used to start the foundation. So it now coincides with my birthday. So at the time that we are doing maybe 20th anniversary, 25, my birthday will always come up. So I have to thank all of you for your beautiful words, your encouragement, and promise that we'll continue to do our best. I thank you all.
I think the applause should be louder than that. The ovation should be louder than that. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you for the kind